Without further ado, Jay Valentine.
Yo, what's
Welcome
up,
to the
guys?
show, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Chilling. Happy to be back.
Hey, it's been a minute since I had you on. I remember, I think we were talking to Green Room a minute ago, and it's like last time I had you on, we were just talking like just a basic intro to kayak stuff. So this could be a little different for us. And I haven't actually talked to you for a while. We've gone back and forth in text and here and there, and we both work with Impulse rods. And I know we both enjoy those. But how you been?
I've been good, man. Been busy. Summertime's always busy because the kids are out of school, so I'm not getting out on the water quite as often as I want. But nevertheless, it gives me time to do some research, running a business. So, doing a lot of stuff on the side. But the biggest thing that's kind of happened over the summertime for me is I got invited to fish the Pan American Kayak Championship in South Carolina the week before the Knucklehead. So, like I was telling you earlier, this is the weekend right before the Knucklehead Championship in Alabama. So I'll be over there on Lake Murray fishing for Team Puerto Rico, if you want to say it right. So yeah, super excited, man. There's 9 anglers, so we're gonna be 3 teams of 3, and the team captain is Guillermo Gonzalez, he's a hammer, bro. So if y'all watch him do any sort of tournament fishing, guy's an absolute hammer. So he's going to be leading the team, man. I think he took the gold last year for the Pan American Championship for Team USA. And when he found out there's Team Puerto Rico, he wanted to jump on board.
Come on,
man. So it'll be a busy couple weeks, man. But it'll be fun.
What's your wife think about you leaving straight up for 2 weeks in a row?
My wife is the best, dude. So all right, so on top of this being a combined trip, so I was already going down to Alabama for the championship for the Knucklehead, right? Yep. That's October 5th and 6th. Yep. My wedding anniversary is October 5th. Ooh. So we're gonna be 12 hours down, right? 12 hours away fishing this tournament on my wedding anniversary. But I put the ball in her court and I said, babe, I know it's on our wedding anniversary. If I can't do it, that's all right. That's no big deal, whatever. She was like, do it. I was like, all right, cool. So we did it. And then a couple months passed by, and then they invite me for the Pan American, which is the weekend before. And I was like, there's no way I can do this. She's like, hold on, don't say no yet. Let's sleep on it. And sure enough, bro, the next morning, she's like, I think this is a God thing. You need to do this.
Come on.
And so it's a 13-day trip. So anyone with kids can imagine. We got 3 little ones. We both work full time. It's a busy time to be running the household by herself, but it's all about them wives, man. I love my wife.
I'm telling you what, there would be no Wendell fishing if it wasn't for Danielle Wendell. And because whenever I'm out doing the thing, she's at home. I got 2 little ones too, 6 and 8 years old. And she's a freaking saint. Danielle, if you're listening upstairs, I love you. Thank you.
Shout out to the wives.
Yeah, shout out to the wives. All right. Well, let's go ahead real fast before we hop into iCast. Let's talk about the old Knucklehead. Let's let me share my screen here. Take a look at it. Give an update. Always get an update. We're in month number 3.
Woo!
Knucklehead. And so we already placed some team members. And we're getting close to the end of July. And we only have 1 more month left. All the teams will be solidified. And like you said, October 5th and 6th, we're going down to Gunnersville. So this is going to be a good time. Mm-hmm. And Jay's going to just love being the first, second, or third loser to the Knucklehead this year. So let's go ahead and present. No comeback on that. I'm surprised.
Listen, bro, I'll let the fishing do the talking.
Oh, love it. All right, let's take a look at this. All right, let's see who is in the lead. So right now, I have Seth Taylor hopped on May for my team. Tammy Sanchez coming in with 98.5 inches for June, who was on my team last year. So nice. I'm excited to get a previous team member. And then I'm on a tear in July. I have 103 inches from Ohio. It's like stupid, like 21.75, 21.25, 21, 19.5, 19.5. Like I caught a 19 this morning. I was like, I can't even put it on the board. It doesn't call out a fish. So pretty wild. Greg Massa, who was on my team last year, 99.25. So technically he's in the lead right now. And Ellis McRobert, Jack, he was on my team last year and he's at 97.75. So I have a feeling, just have this crazy feeling that I'm going to have another one of my team members on the board. So excited about that.
The thing is, you get that insider information. You got them Alabama boys already there.
I do. So Jack lives like right next to Gunnersville, and Massa lives on Wheeler. So come on now.
Wow.
Let me stop my
That's
screen.
money, bro. So
right.
whichever one of them don't land on your team, they can go for my team in August, and then that way I'll get the inside information too.
Interesting enough, one of my buddies who's on my team last year signed up for me and you, right?
Okay.
And so we'll talk about that here in a second. So I'm on your page right now. Walk us through what we're looking at.
Yeah, man. So May, my boy Mactoon took that 108 inches. Dude, that is a bag. So he took it with 108. And then Jonathan Miller, who came in third place in May, for June came in first with 105.5 inches. So Florida boy putting up them inches. And then for July, right now, Rick Peters is in the lead. As you can see, he came in second place in May and June.
Yeah, he did.
And he's right now holding first for July. He was on my team last year, and we fished down on Gunnersville together.
Okay.
So we'll see, man. I'm hoping he gets in, but it's a good race because there's a lot of those top guys for this month are Northeast boys. Because we got New Jersey, we got Maine. There's a couple Pennsylvania guys up there.
Yeah.
So,
and watch out for the sleeper, Jake Tomlin, right here from Ohio.
he got some big ones.
He's not posting anything. He knows what he needs. He's not taking the time to post the 17s and 18s. He knows he needs to get 19s and above. 21.5, 20.25, and 20. And I tell you what, he's on them. I know he's on them because I fish with him, and I'm on him. And so careful there, because with a 19 and a 20, he's taking first on your team. We'll see what happens. This is gonna be fun. It's always fun the last few moments.
Yeah,
of the
you
month.
can't get comfortable, man, because someone will come through and grab that spot.
Heck yeah. I had that happen to me in the state tournament. I was first all the way up to maybe 2 or 3 hours till the end of Ohio tournament. And this guy, it's like neck and neck. And he took it with a back-to-back like 20s and like within an hour on the last day. So it happens.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. All right, let's talk some iCast. This is fun.
Bro, let's do it, man.
You just had a conversation on Sunday on your podcast around iCast. How did that conversation go as I go get some of this stuff prepped?
Yeah, man. So I talked to Chris Blanco, who's coincidentally one of my teammates for Team Puerto Rico for the Pan American Championship. Okay. He's been down to iCast. He was there all the 4 days, I think it was. So he was able to get some good coverage. He actually has some of the best social media coverage of iCast because he really got to go into a lot of the booths where he was showing stuff that a lot of the other guys was not showing. So he really did a great job. And of course, we talked kayaks, we talked the gear. I don't want to jump in ahead of myself here, but there was some good stuff at iCast this year, man. I'm kind of jealous I didn't get to go.
Yeah.
But that's going to change next year. I'm going to be there.
Ooh.
But we had some people drop some really a few companies, I think, and specifically that dropped a lot of gears. Like they saved up almost specifically for this show.
Well, let's hop in. I was going through their website where you can check out like all the submissions and all the winners. And I was going through and I saw this. Check this out. I'm going to be sharing a bunch of photos and stuff tonight as well, reading some things. So I saw this. I haven't seen this yet. Boom. The X piece. You guys see this? The fishing drone tech. I was like, what in the world is this? I finally realized, okay, this isn't like a fishing drone where you go and like try to catch fish. This is a drone where you go drop bait if you're like trying to get it out there over the ocean. But I'm going to read it to you. The technology is introducing X-Piece 1, a waterproof fishing drone that can fly in the air, I hope so, float on the water, and see underwater while navigating on the surface. The HD camera sends live video to the waterproof remote control so you can drop 8 pounds of bait up to a mile out. So the X-Piece 1 is the first drone ever equipped with bite sense, which allows you to troll bait and automatically release it when the fish bites. Want to take a guess on how much that thing costs?
Dude, I'm going to say at least like $1,500.
$2,300. What do you think about that?
Dude. I mean, I guess that has a place for surf fishing.
Yeah.
You know, that would be it. Back in the day, they used to just like have a kayaker paddle the baits all the way out there past the brakes. Now they have a drone to do it.
Mac Toon, it's on your team. They use drones here in NC to drop for tuna on the surf, but it's illegal. Oh, I did not know that was
Only
legal.
illegal if you get caught.
There you go. Michael Smith said, I don't know if I trust a drone. There you go. So interesting. I mean, Elizabeth Z said $2,300 is a drop in the bucket for you high rollers. I don't know who she's talking to. Am I a high roller? She's talking about you?
I don't know, man.
What are you talking about, Liz?
I think we're both high rollers.
I guess so.
That's I mean, I guess it's useful. That's what did that win? What category did that win?
It actually won Best in Electronics.
Wow. Okay.
I was like, okay, that is very interesting to me because Lowrance came out with the Eagle Eye 9, which is really forward-facing sonar for the everyday person. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I saw this on the submissions, then I later found it in the website that it actually won Best for Electronics. I'm like, interesting, very interesting. So I wondered if you'll start seeing like people actually. I mean, I've seen some like gag videos, and I've actually tried to take my drone up and catch a fish before. So it's kind of interesting and fun. But 8 pounds.
People will take that and do all sorts of things with it, man.
I am sure they will. It'll be fun. All right, what else we have? I was hopping through here. Let me see what videos we got. All right. Ooh, I like this one. This is the. Oh my gosh, I got so many things on my screen right now. The original Doris Parsons 4-bladed spinnerbait.
Wow.
So this was just a submission. Now, for those of you out there, I've never actually had my hands on one of these, but I'm going to read the description for it. So the legendary spinnerbait Doris Parsons from Denver, North Carolina, innovated the first 4-bladed spinnerbait in the 80s. And it's been recognized by fishing legends such as Hank Cherry, Tom Mann, Hank Partner, Tommy Martin, and Bass Mooch acquired the assets of Doris's molds in 2023 and is privileged to honor her legacy and reintroduce the original Doris Parsons 4-bladed spinnerbait back to the industry. I did not know that information. So I was like, all right, that's interesting. Have you ever fished with a 4-bladed before?
Never, man. I think honest to God, 2 blades are like where I would draw the line. That's the most I ever fished was 2-bladed.
Mac says, I've used 4-blade spinners before, and it's meh. If I want that much bling, I'll throw a Bama rig. And that's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, if I have this thing, I think it makes sense because this isn't a giant spinnerbait. I mean, it's got to be somewhat large to hold 4 blades. But these blades aren't monster blades. And I know that where I'm fishing right now, I'm getting a lot of like bait fish on top of the water. But when I look at them, they're tiny like these little blades. So I was thinking to myself, man, if I got my hands on one of these, this might do the trick where those other spinners are maybe a little bit too big for what the bass are hitting. So I was like, okay, interesting. Anybody else, if you're listening in, have you ever tried the 4-bladed spinner baits? I know that Mac, not a huge fan. I haven't got my hands on it, but looks interesting. Would you fish it?
I'd try it. There's very few that I would not give a shot to.
What's one of the ones you wouldn't give a shot to?
Was that?
What's one that you wouldn't give a shot to?
Oh, man. Well, I saw a video of some guy stringing up his Alabama rig with like 7 whopper ploppers. I wouldn't do that.
Like joking?
No, he actually ran it. I don't know that he caught anything, but that sounds like it got messy real quick.
That didn't even make any sense to me. They float.
They do. Yeah, it was totally like some top water madness going on.
Huh. Oh, here we got someone just made a comment. Oh, Mac Toon. He said the top blade spins good, but then the bottom 3 aren't swiveled right, and they don't like to spin like you think they would. No. Interesting. Oh, yeah. If you look at the photo, for those of you listening in, it's not on a swivel. You see that?
The top one.
Just the top one's on the swivel. The other ones are just going to like flutter back and forth. Okay. Interesting. I wonder why they don't put them on a swivel. Huh. Carolina Lunker Seekers. So Booth makes a 4-blade, and I've caught form patterns on them in slightly stained water. Great option when the A rig is not allowed. All right.
Okay.
Solid. Low Life Angler said, looks like what the Amish would use. I'm not even sure what that means. Help me out.
So
Help me out, low life.
they already have the spinner baits though that are like the mini A rigs. They have like 3 little decoy fish and then the large one on the bottom. So I feel like I would rather throw something like that.
Sure. Off the Hook Outdoors said they've been making these for years. Yes, it's in the 80s. They've been making these, but they're kind of reintroducing it. So I don't know. Thought it was interesting. I don't own one. I don't really see them in the stores. One of those probably special orders in order to get your hands on one. But hey, I'd fish it. I don't love fishing the spinnerbait anyways. I'm not like I'll bring it out when it gets windy. My chatterbait and my spinnerbait comes out sunny days. It'll come out. But for the most part, not a huge fan of the spinnerbait. Do you fish this style often, Jay?
No, not at all. I
Yeah.
mean, I honestly I don't throw spinner baits a whole lot in general. So when I do, I just stay away from the crazy stuff.
There you go. All right, moving on. I was going through.
Speaking of lures, though, did you see the Berkeley Kredge won the freshwater hard lure?
I did. We're going to talk about that in just a moment, but we can talk about it right now if you want.
I mean, let's do it, bro.
Boom! There it is.
My boy Jake swears by these, man. Jake Stem, he's an Old Town pro staff up here, and he fishes a lot of the regional tournaments, and he loves this thing. I haven't got my hands on one yet, but they have some crazy action. I mean, the first time I even saw it, that bill, you see that it looks wonky. It looks like it's upside down.
Yes, for those of you listening in, the bill on this, I guess we call it, it's a
jerkbait.
Essentially a jerkbait with it looks like an upside down bill. Let me read for you. This actually comes from Pure Fishing, Berkeley, owned by Pure Fishing. The Berkeley Kredge, all this marketing is going to drive me nuts, is a revolutionary hard bait that is creating a new style of fishing called kredging. Is that what we're calling it now? Kredging? Is that a thing? First time I heard about it was right here. So I think they're making their own stuff up. This lure defies conventional jerkbaiting by working its way upwards in the water column, only to fall backwards toward its target. So designed to excel with FFS. Kredging allows the angler to take advantage of being able to see how the fish reacts and work the bait up and away from the fish, better imitating a natural fleeing motion, or back towards the fish, triggering reaction bites. I don't know. That was a lot of spin there.
Oh, yeah.
But I could see if you're working your forward-facing sonar. I mean, forward-facing sonar, I don't have it. I might get it someday, but it's really changed. I mean, everything is now. I mean, I saw a rod ad recently. It's like,
oh my gosh,
designed for forward-facing sonar. I was like, that doesn't even make any sense. What do you mean your rod's designed for forward-facing sonar? I understand lures, right? I can kind of get that. I just had a conversation with someone on the water this morning talking about strolling. And I was like, it's just like all this FFS is really changing how people are in the ways they are fishing. It's fascinating. Just fascinating. So he's killing with this thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I that's going to be, when you throw your typical jerkbait when the water's a little bit cooler, you're going off into the warmer months of the springtime. But like if you are scoping and he's a live scoper, he's able to pick them off, and then almost like that description says, where the fish kind of works backwards towards the fish. If they don't hit it on the way going forward, they can hit it on the way going back. So I mean, for the price point, I have it on my list to pick up a couple, but I think they're around $20-$25 if I'm not mistaken.
All right. Oh, that's a kind of expensive lure. $25.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's right in that price range. But I mean, it's right up there with the Mega Vision the Mega Bass Vision 110s.
Jeez,
about $25.
That's crazy. All right, we got some comments here. Bass Ackwards 13 says the Kredge flutters upwards when you crank it. Interesting. Diggs still having a conversation about the 4-bladed spinnerbait. He says, "Sorry, 4 blades on a spinnerbait is nothing more than a gimmick." I don't know. That's like saying the A-rig's a gimmick, right? The idea is you're creating a lot of flash. I don't know. Back to the Kredge. Elizabeth Z says its name defies conventional naming. Oh, so good.
That was good.
Carolina Lunker Seekers. So the Kredge OB, the new Strike King version, copycat of the original Jackal Riser. phenomenal with spotted bass. All right. Interesting. Greg Todd Moore, old dad, said it's on his list. So, whew, $25 every time. You know what I would do as soon as I caught this? I'd get it stuck. First throw. Guaranteed. Low life anglers, he's like, I'm going to save the credge for the spillways in the winter. All right.
Okay.
And then Granville J, he said, I saw a product using 3 transducers on the back of a kayak. Is this true? I haven't heard that.
That sounds wild.
It sounds.
I do know people that rock with two forward facing sonar transducers on their kayaks.
Oh,
it's a little bit over the top, I think, but
that is.
Yeah,
I mean, if you actually have live target, you got 135 degrees of visibility. How many more degrees of visibility do you need?
Well, if you're doing it with, guys will get the different brands. So they might get the Humminbird, what is it, the Mega 360?
Sure.
And then something like the Active Target or the Live Scope from Garmin. Or they'll have even two of the Live Scope, and they'll run one in perspective mode and one in forward.
Oh, sorry, I meant live target. My bad. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, electronics is getting.
It's a little out of hand, but
wild, crazy. Interesting. All right, I'm looking at all these comments over here. This is good. MacToon. Only thing these baits concern me is if you watch your forward-facing sonar, you never see anything in the water column moving up and down. Everything moves horizontal. Reason to shake and bake works so well. All right, so fascinating. I think I would like what forward-facing sonar would teach me. Right? Who did I have on the show? He's from Columbus. Bass Fishing HQ. Had him on the show not too long ago. And he was just sharing how, hey, when I first got it, he was actually amazed by all the fish that are chasing his bait and give up. And he really just took him to another level of understanding of what the bait or what the bass are doing whenever you're throwing certain lures and, big swim baits and they come up, and it's interesting. So I don't know. I think I would like it just for that, just to kind of elevate my knowledge of what is happening under the water that you never see and never realize. Hey, I said 7 bass chase my lure back and then split off at the last second. And so I'd be asking like, okay, why? Then you can start developing trends. Okay, this is off a little bit on my bait. Maybe the color's off, maybe the spin. What is going on? So you can change it up and see if they react differently. And you're like, oh, I just learned something that I would never be able to learn if I didn't have access to that visibility underneath the water.
Yeah, it's wild, man, because I have it. I just haven't put in the hours and the reps with it yet.
You've got it
this year. Yeah, I got it earlier this year.
What do you think?
I think it's all on me. The learning curve's all on me. I haven't put in the reps to really dial it in as much as I want to.
Okay.
And that just comes down to a time thing for me. But I have learned how often fish will straight up just ignore my lure, which is great. I swear I could see it just like bopping on their forehead, and they don't even care.
Nothing.
Fascinating. If they don't want to bite, man, they just ain't gonna bite.
Yeah, and that's one thing. I had at a tournament up on a lake near me, and my buddy was talking to the guy who won it, and he's like, "Hey, tell me a little bit about your experience with forward-facing sonar." He's like, "You know what? I honestly have to remind myself I spend too much time on one fish, right? He sees this monster, and then he'll just continue throwing and throwing, and before you know it, 30, 40 minutes went by because you see it, like it's there." Like why? And you rotate through so many different lures only to find out that thing's just not biting, and you just wasted 40 minutes. So interesting. All right. Got some more comments coming in over here. All right, let's take a look at some of the other things that were at the show. Let's talk about
kayaks.
Okay. Not yet. So the Eagle Eye 9 from Lowrance. This is interesting. You've heard about this? You talked about this yet?
That's the one thing that people have not mentioned. I saw a bit of it over on social media, but Chris did not mention it last time, and I haven't seen a whole lot of guys online sharing about it.
Well, I got a video coming out tomorrow taking the deep dive because I took a deep dive on it. So I saw this. I'm like, okay, what is new about this? So the Eagle Eye 9 is forward-facing sonar at a price of $999. Everyone might be scratching your head. What do you mean $999? When all these other live scope, by the time you get into it and buy your graph and buy the transducer and buy the black box, you're pushing $3,000, right? So how can this possibly cost $999? And so I started taking a really deep dive. Okay, what are they doing here? Because it's the same technology as whatever Lowrance calls their forward facing. Is it live target? I think that's what it's called. Yeah, live target. So it's the same technology, but and they don't publish this information. It took me a while to find it on the internet. But what they did is, it's from my understanding, if you're like someone out there who understands this better than I do, even though I spent an insane amount of time researching this yesterday. Essentially, what happens on forward-facing sonar, like live target, I know that one because that's what I did research on. Essentially, what you're looking at is 6 beams or 6 radar beams that are going out in front of you and below your boat. And what the graph does and what the black box does, it has the processing power to basically take all those signals, those arrays, and stitch them together and then give you the reading on your graph. And so when you're doing your forward facing, there's 3 arrays. And when you're doing your down, there's 3 arrays. So a total of 6. Okay. So think of it that way. Now, so what Lowrance is offering here is, out of those 6 arrays, so 4 beams of sonar that they stitched together, you are actually active target. That's right, Chad. I was getting it mixed up here. What they actually are doing is only giving you 1 beam of the first 3 arrays, right? So you're going to be able to see out, but you're going to have a limitation on the visibility of your angles there. That makes sense. And then that beam below it, you're not going to get. And that array below that, you're not going to get. And then below your boat, it's going to pick up that array, that beam. And then there's 2 more arrays that you don't get underneath that. And there's like that array that goes underneath your kayak that goes around 45 degrees back. And so now that we kind of understand the technology, now you understand why this is a plug and play system. So you don't have to have a black box. And the reason you don't need a black box, because you don't need the extra processing power, because the graph can handle just processing 2 beams of sonar versus 6. And that's why you have essentially 66% less price as well. And so it's interesting. I think they spin it on their site as more focused forward-facing sonar, which is interesting. That's one way to put it. I would say, now, granted, it has the same technology, so you're going to see it. However, the question is, will you have a crippling blind spot? Right? I'm not sure.
So it's not directional. So you're not turning it. It's a fixed transducer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you can stick it on one of those things and move it around, right?
Yeah.
I don't have it. I mean, I don't have live scope, but I just took a deep dive on this. So Chad says pretty close, a little bit of oversimplification. Well, yeah, I'm not going to go into freaking deep dive here. So what you are losing is the fill-in where the computer is making up the gaps. So interesting. Yeah. So we'll see.
Matt said, has anyone told Randy B?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure he'll come out with something about it. I'm not saying it's bad. So here's what I love about it, right? It is closing the gap of accessibility for individuals who want this, right? What used to be 3,000, everyone's like, I'm out. Not a chance. Can't. Never going to get to that price. But $999? I mean, I paid for my Garmin UHD 92SV. It was up there close to that. And I was just getting down scan and side scan.
No.
I'm not sure that if this was out during that time, I wouldn't have purchased this instead. Right. And so it's interesting. In the video that I come out with tomorrow, you'll be able to see the visibility of kind of the angles you're getting versus their active target. And so, yeah, this will be interesting to see how I believe there's a place in the market for this. I honestly believe it'll actually take off for $999 for people to have it. And because if you don't know what the $3,000 module does, and you're like, hey, I have forward-facing sonar and I'm seeing things I've never been able to see before, they're going to have nothing to compare it to, right? So they're going to be super happy with what Lowrance is offering with the Eagle Eye 9 and with the price point that makes it accessible. It's like, all right.
And it can even be like a gateway, if you will, to like your standard active target or live scope or whatever. So I mean, I like the accessibility part of it. Like that's the thing. Like a lot of these electronics are viewed as inaccessible or not practical for the weekend warrior, which really is what 99% of us are. We just like to go out on the weekends. So, but yeah, I paid $700 for my. I have the same graph as you. I paid $700 when it came out, and it was just with the graph and the downscan and stuff.
Yeah.
So for $1,000, that's not bad. And the good thing is that now that this is out, give it a couple years, and everyone else is going to start picking up on it, and it's going to start driving the price even lower.
Yeah, will do. MacToon said Lowrance doesn't have side imaging. Yeah, the Eagle Eye 9 does not have side imaging. So that's one of those things with this. It does not compatible with. It's also not compatible with other. Anyways, watch the video. I'm still learning myself, but from what I found out, yeah, should be interesting. Should be interesting. Wouldn't say you have blind spots. Yeah, Chad says no, you will not have blind spots. You can still put it on trolling motor head or pole, right? Like we just talked about. You can move it around. You just have a more limited angle of visibility. Anyways, so I thought this was fascinating. I don't know why. I'm not sure if it was even submitted for electronics because a drone shouldn't. I don't know. In my opinion, I feel like this should have won, but I'm not sure if it even submitted for electronics.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, if they have to submit for like to win those categories, because sometimes they might not even do that.
Yeah, I have no clue. I don't know that part of iCast. I'm not even going to pretend like I do. Low Life Angler said, "Hey, I'll buy one in 3 years for $200 at Ollie's."
Shout out to Ollie's.
I love it. Ollie's. Yeah, I always find all the lures at Ollie's that I don't ever want. I was like, okay, this is kind of garbage. Anyway,
Still doesn't stop me from buying them.
Oh,
like
yeah.
like $2.99 for a bag of 70 worms that I'm never gonna throw.
Good stuff, cheap. All right, so this one was interesting. The winner for what is the Shadtrons? This is from Z-Man Products.
Ooh.
So I'm going to read there. That looks real. If you guys are listening in, that looks juicy. So it says, true to nature shad profile swim bait. The Shadtron LT offers a pioneering over-under line through harness for top or belly hook rigging. Driven by a rounded, wedge-shaped tail, the Shadtron swims the genuine shad motion, activated at fast or extra slow retrieves, precision weighted harness, and tough, buoyant Elastec material. Main lines lures upright posture. Lifelike body sculpted with 8 photo printed, hand painted colors. Comes in 4.5 inches and 6-inch sizes, and a slow and fast sink models. And it comes with a single hook. I like it.
That looks super realistic.
It really does.
So it comes rigged up already.
It comes rigged. It comes with a sickle hook included with it.
Okay.
I mean, technically you wouldn't need it if you. Yeah, it's fascinating. I don't know. I want to get my hands on one of these because I think I would like the 6-inch size. I mean, it's the size of the mag draft that I like fishing, and I wonder if they come out with an 8-inch sometime. We'll see. I wonder if it takes off.
It looks like you could put a treble on the bottom.
It does, but where would you put your line? I don't see where you put the line. Usually you put it on the nose.
Yeah.
I don't see where. I'm having a hard time figuring out where you hook this thing up. Huh.
I don't know.
Yeah,
looks cool though.
Huh. It does look. It looks juicy. It looks like the shad in the lakes that I fish. So I think I like that. Smoke 74 says Z-Man's really stepping up their game. It says that looks sick. Yeah, Carolina Lunker says it's line through. I'm just trying to. I can't visualize it from where they're actually showing it on the camera here. Chad says the Shadtron is awesome because you can rig it with top or bottom hooks. I like it. Yeah, MacToon asked the same question I did. Are they making these 8 to 10-inch versions? Only swim baits I throw are big uns. I don't want to catch no dinks.
That's why we're gonna win in Alabama. Just telling you.
Oh, why are you gonna win in Alabama?
Because MacToon don't catch no dinks.
There you go. Anthony says that sickle hook comes out. Okay, now it's starting to make sense to me. It's a regular hook. All right, so that is. They're just throwing me off with the photo. Bayou Bandit says, not sure if I like the hook placement on this guy. Elizabeth C says Shadron's going to be good. And Chad says, I've heard they are doing an 8-inch for this. All right. Should be juicy. I'm going to get my hands on one of these. I'm going to add it to my swim bait collection, which really just consists of primarily large mag drafts. 8-inch is my favorite, especially early in the season. All right, let's hop on to what else we got here showing up. This is kind of interesting. It's not a kayak. Did you see this? The Skanu.
I have not seen that.
So for those of you listening in, it looks like a painted. I'm looking at it. What's that boat called? Like a metal $800, $1,500. What am I thinking of?
It's like a John boat?
Yeah, like a John boat type thing. This is wild. Anyways, guess how much that thing costs?
No, man. I don't even want to know.
$7,000.
No.
Cost $7,000.
Why? What is on that thing?
I don't know. It's a dinghy. I don't know what is going on. I looked at this and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I look at the price. I'm like, what? Is that a typo?
$7,000.
Yeah. Chad said this is the third attempt at the Skanu. I mean, they have they're independently wealthy or something. I guess you only have to sell a few of them. 7,000. Oh, there it is. It's a rowboat hull and it's Kevlar. So there's where your price comes in. The bearded paddler. Why don't you just buy a kayak?
Yo, bro.
So good.
Jeez, bro. It looks like it comes with nothing. It's just 2 benches.
Yeah. It's a rowboat.
It's like a confused canoe.
Kevlar rowboat. I'm not sure.
So what difference does the Kevlar make is my question.
It's just super tough. And I would imagine light. I don't know. I really don't know. I just looked at it and I was like, what in the world am I looking at? Yak Gear came out with something. I mean, it's just a cheaper. I looked at this and was like, oh, interesting. So let's take a look at this. This is called the, where's the write-up on it? It's the Yak Gear Kayak Angler Crate. This is a 13-inch and designed for, obviously, it's a really cheap, inexpensive, I guess kind of lower expensive. And what I thought was interesting, it actually has the fishing rod holders like built into the corners. So technically you can get 4 of them going out there. And it's only $49.99.
Okay. I like that.
Okay. That's a price point that doesn't get hit a lot for a plastic crate like this. So it's like, all right, if you're out there and you're like, hey, I don't want a milk crate and because I don't want to build it and I don't want to spend $150 on a Yak Attack crate. There's a lot of the intermediaries, but this one, $49.99. The Yak Gear Kayak Angler Crate. This is a small one, so I imagine the price goes up as you start getting into the larger ones. But
but you're right. I think at that price point, it's going to hit a lot of people that don't want to make it and don't want to spend $150. Yeah, because even the Flambeau Tough Crate, which I guess would be like the lower end one, it's still $110, $115.
Yeah, someone's making fun. So innovative. Yeah, it's not innovative at all. It's just like, okay, can we hit all the price points at Kayak Crates so everybody can get involved and buy at any price that they want? All right, let's talk about some kayaks here. Of course, the one that made a lot of fanfare is the XTR. So let me share my screen real fast.
I feel like Chad's going to have a lot to say about this one.
This is good. I'm glad Chad's on tonight. Because he's definitely probably the most knowledgeable out there about the XTR. All right, let me share my screen. I'm looking at Kayak Angler's write-up on this. There we go. I know I got to get this off here. Boom, there we go. So many things. Hide current comment. All right, so XTR, for those of you who were like, hey, just not really following all of the latest and greatest. I feel like everyone, their mom's talking about this. But I haven't really talked about it a whole lot. I've read a lot of things about it. And here's the kind of the write-up. And the guy who wrote this up, Rick Burnley, I had him on the show not too long ago. So the XTR, it's big boat, right? It's 12 feet, 7 inches long, 40 inches wide, 155 pounds. And the crazy thing, this thing has a 700-pound capacity. right? It's getting wild. And I've had so many guys text me, so many guys reach out to me like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And I was like, I mean, it looks awesome. Don't get me wrong. And now there's a ton of videos come out. Is it a boat? Is it a kayak? Blah, 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 blah. It just looks super comfortable. And for that lake tournament boat, I'm like, all right, I can see myself in it. I'm a pedal drive guy, so I'd probably never actually get into this. And I was thinking to myself, I was looking at it. Okay, it's a nice front deck there. And I had one of my buddies call me. I was like, yeah, I'm getting this. I'm selling my Hobie and I'm buying the XTR. I was like, all right. Yeah. But I was like, you run multiple graphs. And so your graphs are going to be mounted right where you, okay, he was talking about, oh, I'd love to stand up there. And, you know, it's like kayak meet bass boat when it comes to standing up on the deck. I was like, where are you going to put that? And he was telling me there's some tracks up front that you can move it up if you want to or whatever. So I was like, all right, interesting. But looks juicy. What are your thoughts on it?
I like it, bro. I like when there's different options, right? I'm a big dude, and I got a lot of friends that are big guys, and the kayak angling in general is growing in the big dude market. Like, we're taking over. All right, we don't want to lose weight, but we want to get out there in a kayak. So I think I mean, it's not innovative in the fact that, oh, it can hold a big dude. Like, there's other kayaks that do fantastic. The New Canoe Unlimited, even the Frontier 12, the Titan X from last year, any of the Old Town Sportsman models will do fantastic with a big dude on there. So it's not innovative in that sense, but it is in the fact that it's bringing a lot of those extra features that are not found in other kayaks, putting it all together. The storage is ridiculous. The power link plates, the like where you can situate your screens. I mean, between this and then the other kayak from Wilderness Systems that they dropped at the show too. I mean, they're both made to have dual screens on the front. Like, they're out of the way, they're easily viewable, and you still have a huge open deck in front of you where it doesn't get in the way.
Yeah.
So you're not jerry rigging a kayak for a specific purpose. This is already made with all of that in mind.
No, I like it. And I saw, what is that? Georgia Bassmaster on this. And you can actually put 2 seats in this and run it as a tandem. You guys, which is kind of wild.
Did you see the video of Chad and Gene on it?
No, I don't. To be honest with you, like, I got a new job about 10 months ago. For those of you who don't know, I'm the vice president of philanthropy at Child Help. And so we help address and help kids with child abuse and go after the perpetrators and so forth and so on. And that job has been kicking my butt. And so any additional margin outside of YouTube goes to my family. So like, I am redlining right now. So I might see something and like, but I don't have time to watch it all the way through. I wish I did.
Yeah.
Wish I did. But well, anyways, what were you gonna say about it?
No, I mean, it held both of them just fine. That's actually, I should put that picture of Chad and Gene as my background on my computer. Yeah, it's
so good.
Wonderful. But I mean, it can hold 2 grown men. I don't want to go fishing with another grown man in my boat. I think it's a lot more viable for dads that want to take out their kids that might be 8, 9, 10 years old.
See, now I'm in on that. Because right now I took the family out in my kayak and I had Mercy, my oldest, in mine. And then I ran the IATAK Wilderness Systems behind me, had my family on it. And I was like, oh, it would be really nice. I'd take my girls out more if I could throw a second seat and they can fish in front of me. So for kayak fishing dads out there, this could be, being that it's not like a lot of those doubles are like, okay, it's a double and you can't make it to a single. So this could be the family kayak. I like it. Bearded Paddler says you can take a grown woman fishing if you don't want to take a grown man fishing.
True. Drag my wife.
Chad said Gene and I run it with 2 motors, 3 batteries, and yeah, that's a lot of testosterone in the boat. You tested the weight capacity, so this is good. Let's hear some of the comments here. People are chiming in on. All right, we got the Bayou Bandit said that thing is nice. Will Selby Kayak Fishing says I'm buying a new one soon. Maybe that's the one. All right. Christina says, does it really matter if people think it's a boat or a kayak? It really doesn't. If it meets your needs, then get it. People stop hating. Bonafide is wanting to provide what some people are looking for and want. No, I definitely think this will be a popular kayak. I wish I have the chance to get in one for a little bit, but it looks solid. I own a Bonafide P127. I don't plan on getting out anytime soon unless Bonafide upgrades another PDL anytime soon. So I have a feeling I'm going to be in it for a while, but looks juicy. Now, what's interesting is that, let me stop sharing this screen. Let me start sharing another screen. Oh, where'd it go? Huh, I can't find it now.
Well,
that got a lot of fanfare, but it's not what won Best in Show.
Yeah, surprisingly. And I almost feel bad because of all the attention it got that took away from what you're leading to, which is the Wilderness Systems kayak.
But did they even submit? Because I look in submissions, I didn't see the XTR in the submissions. So I was like, okay, did the Wilderness Systems Tactical Pro 128 win because the XTR wasn't up against it? I don't know that. I know I didn't see it in the submissions. So I don't know. I wasn't there. This is probably why I need to go there so I can answer all these questions, but I don't know.
Yeah, Chad brought up a point too about that price point on the Bonafide XTR. It's wild, dude. At $2,800, I think it's a really good price point for what you're getting.
Yeah, and there you go. There's the answer. Chad said we didn't enter a new product for Best of Show, so that might be why the Wilderness Systems Tactical Pro 128 won, is because the XTR was not in the new product showcase. I wonder why.
You probably have to pay for that.
That's why. I mean, Chad, why don't you just come on the show? My gosh, if you do media, they'll leak your crap before you want them to. Makes sense. And I'm not gonna lie, Bonafide did a really great job of releasing that because it was like boom, and it was everywhere really fast. And so, tip my hat. Outdoor Conquest says, save your pennies. Wait until you see what Old Town is doing with the autopilot.
I hope so, bro. They are overdue to update that hull, man. I love my autopilot, but they're all functioning on a 2020 hull.
All right, let's take a look at this one. Let's take a look at the Wilderness Systems Tactical Pro 128. Since it did win Best in Show, let's chat about it. I got to bring it up here. All right. Share. There we go. This beauty. Do you have a chance to take a look at this? I honestly didn't have a lot of time. Essentially, it's kind of rigged out for motors and batteries. I mean, it's nothing. I don't think it's anything like, oh wow, they changed the game. It's heavy. So I was reading through this earlier today. Let me see if I can get the weight on this thing.
Yeah, it's not far off from the Bonafide and like that it's bringing a whole lot to the table, but they did some really cool innovative stuff with that one that I really like it.
Yeah. So it weighs 160 pounds. So this it's beefy. You're going to need a trailer. You're going to need a heavy duty cart. Right. And so it's going to be a challenge, they say, on land, but asset in the water, 600 pounds of capacity to rig it with all the bells and whistles. So not quite up there with the XTR, but nonetheless, what's the price point on this guy? It is
$2,200.
Okay, 22. And what was the
28?
There's my point. The bearded paddler just said the Wilderness at $2,200 is too close to the XTR, in my opinion. So I was like, okay, and it's heavier than the XTR. So I don't know. Interesting.
I've never been in a Wilderness Systems kayak, and in general, they've never super wowed me. It was on my short list of kayaks. I was looking at the Recon when I was looking for my first kayak. But they did do some things I like on it. The storage itself, the huge front hatch that it has, and also for a bow mounted motor, they kind of like offset it to the side. So if you're using the XI3, it's not eating up that hatch space that it would in normal situations.
Trying to see
and you can also, it has tons of space to put batteries inside the hull too. I think it has enough to put 3 100 amp hour batteries in there.
Jeez, where are you going?
Yeah,
Across the
one up
ocean?
front, 2 in the back.
Okay, down in these
And the
hatches, these
nice
deep
thing is,
hatches.
yeah, so it's staying off the deck. So you're using now all that deck space that would have been eaten up by your batteries. Now you have open deck space to put all your other gear on there.
I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. All right, we got some. Let's take a look at some of these.
Oh, and you could rig it out with 2 power poles and a motor on the back too. You can't quite do that, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chad, on the Bonafide without reinforcing it.
I don't love power poles for lake fishing anyways, and that's definitely what these are lake fishing boats. So I don't know. I'm not a big huge fan of power poles anyways, unless you're fishing the river. I think they make sense there, kind of, depending on how I always see people getting them caught in trees and stuff too. So I don't know. Slyfoss Fishing says Wilderness System makes a very good yak. I own a Wilderness Systems, however, it's an inflatable. It's their IATAK. So I have yet to get my butt into others. I'm going to try to get my butt in some more of those and start doing some demos and reviews. So we'll see what happens. Digs Outdoors says that previous kayak they were talking about, I say within a year, someone will mount some overpowered trolling motor on it and it'll be like a plane, like a bass boat. Yeah, it's getting I heard some conversation. Maybe it was even Chad talking about getting a kayak up over 10 miles an hour. It's like, okay, that is fast. Chad said Wilderness did some really great things with this boat. I think the biggest miss on the Wilderness is the seat trim. It needs seat trim for a boat this big. All right. Woo! Coming up. So that's the kayak conversation. Anything more to add there, since you've already kind of talked about some of the stuff on your show recently this week?
No, I mean, I just like that they're doing stuff for big boys, man. So they're really putting out more options for guys, and they see what the market's doing. I think both Bonafide and Wilderness Systems made a good call on both of these. I do think, and this might be an unpopular opinion, I think the pedal drives are going out the door. I think people are getting more away from that because they are going motorized. And if you're going to get a pedal drive, unless you're really looking to pedal, I mean, you're adding a $1,500 expense on your kayak that you really don't need if you're going to motorize your kayak anyways.
Oh,
So
I disagree. I disagree.
Disagree?
No, I'll be pedal probably the rest of my life. I don't see.
Yeah, and there'll be guys that do that, but I think in general they're probably moving away from. I think because things are going to go more motorized.
Yeah, I mean, everything's moving the motor. I mean, path of least resistance will probably always win out at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Pedal drives do not suck, period. Outdoor conquests. They're freaking awesome. So I'll motor where I want to go, and then I'll pedal around and micro adjust.
They have a lot of merit, dude. Like, I mean, you don't run out of leg power. One, it's a good backup system, but when you have a pedal drive, if you're only using it as a backup, you got to think that it's taking up all that deck space that you otherwise could be using for other stuff. You can't do your whole dashboard command center situation with a pedal drive very easily, but they are expensive. Like a good pedal drive is $1,500.
Juicy. I love it. I don't know any other. I don't see myself fishing any other way. I love having a motor on my pedal drive kayak. Don't get me wrong. Carolina Lunker Seekers is with me. So I disagree too. The motor will get you to your spot fast. Pedal is for positioning. I agree. I'm there with you.
See, I got my spot lock on my autopilot, so I position myself with that bad boy.
But you're using your hand to adjust that, right? To always constantly do that.
Yeah, you could.
That's the beauty with pedaling. You don't have to stop to adjust your motor. It's just nonstop. Anyways, we're getting down.
But once you hit that anchor button, you're just locked in.
Yeah. Chad said, that's true. No, I get it. Obviously it comes down to the way you fish. I always love being on the move. I'm usually not sitting in one spot very long because I'm constantly side scanning, looking for structure. So I'm really constantly on the move. But that's just my type of fishing. Now, other people, you might be fishing somewhere completely different than lakes, and you might absolutely hate pedal drives. So that's the beauty of it. For me, I love it. Not sure I'll move away with it unless I start doing something other than lake fishing.
Yeah.
Chad said, Daren, bro, you're constantly adjusting your rudder with your hand on the pedal drive, but I mean, we're talking microseconds. Microseconds. I don't even think about it anymore. I'm not sitting around trying to fidget with a button, and that's for sure. And half the time, I'm not. I'm actually not. I don't know. I don't even think about it anymore. I've watched some videos to see how much I'm actually doing it, but it's one of those things I don't even think about anymore. Christina says I'm a cheater. I have a pedal drive and use the bearded paddler so you can tow me around with his motorized PWR.
She's a smart one.
That's not cheating. That's just smart. I love it. All right. What else do we got here? Oh man. Well, we're now an hour. So we're kind of at the end of the show here. A lot of comments coming in here. Let me see. See, Chad still likes to paddle. I do you paddle at all?
I skipped right over the paddle phase and went right to pedal.
Okay.
So no,
now
unless I have to.
Do you still have a pedal?
I still have it, my Old Town Sportsman 120. And I'm not getting rid of it. So, I mean, I say that the industry is moving away from it, but I'm not going to get rid of it. I love it.
All right. No, I would agree with your statement that more people are getting into it and skipping over the pedal because they're like, why go to pedal but I don't know. Once you're in it, I love it. Yeah. I don't like the paddle at all. Now, I'll do it every once in a while because I have this little Pelican throw and go. And when I go on work trips, and I can easily throw it into a rental. And so I take that with me. But I just absolutely despise just a little bit of wind, constantly trying to adjust that. But hey, if you like it, you like it. I don't know. All right. So coming out of the end of the show, any other thoughts that you had on your show that you talked about that we haven't covered yet on this one? iCast was kind of fun. It was fun. I see a lot of people getting irritated with it because everybody's covering of it. But to be honest with you, I was like, okay, I'm interested in everyone's take on all of this.
Yeah.
And so I personally love seeing it all. But
yeah, no, same here, man. There's a lot, and I mean, we can talk 2 other shows with all this stuff, but I mean, Yak Attack dropped a ton of goods on this show. Their first aid track pack, their seat cushion, they're dropping a phone tether, new throttle mount, leaderboard colors. They're releasing a crossbar that looks pretty sick. So they released a lot at this show, and Chad did a whole video like going over a lot of those accessories, but they really went ham.
I'd be interested on the phone tether. So I have my Rogue phone tether, and I like it. However, do you have one of those by chance?
Yeah, I love mine.
So you wrap it around the corners. However, mine always flips off a corner. And so if we could somehow figure out, hopefully when Yak Attack launches this out, where it's like maybe the rubber's angled to a way where it doesn't slip off.
Where it won't do that.
Yeah, where it doesn't do that because it's irritating. I got to bass down and I'm holding my hands on it. And then the freaking corner flips off. And now the rubber's in front of my camera. And now I'm at risk of having that thing jump over the side. And it's like, okay, that's one unnecessary risk that I need to take. So I need to figure out something else with the Rogue phone tether. So my hope is that Yak Attack will have something like I can imagine if you mold that rubber in a certain way where it kind of folds over the corner, that would happen less. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I love my Rogue, but I see that problem. So, I mean, if Yak Attack's been good at anything, it's to take current items, current accessories, and then making them better.
Yeah.
So they'll find the little things. And then besides that, dude, I would say Newport dropped a lot of awesome stuff. They had their inflatable, the NS130. That looks pretty sick. I'm not an inflatable guy, and I don't see myself getting onto one. But also has a 600-pound weight capacity and can take up to a 10 horsepower motor in the back. So pretty heavy duty. They also dropped their low pro batteries, which is essentially modular batteries, if you will. Like they're waterproof, they're dust proof, and they fit into a 16x16 Black Pack Pro like perfectly.
Okay, so designed almost for that.
Yeah, pretty sick. And you can rig them up. So if you have the 12 volt 100 amp hour, but you need a 24 volt, it already comes pre-wired. You would just plug them in and make it 24 volt.
Juicy.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, Chad said Rogue has one where the tab goes inside the phone case too. That's the one I need to get a hold of. I don't
They
think
didn't
they were
release that
selling.
one yet, though, I
Not
think.
sure they were selling those whenever because I'm pretty sure I would have purchased that if I saw that one. Sly Fox Fishing said, I seen a video from iCast on a nice tether system. I'll look it up later and let you know. All right. Definitely let me know. I'm curious. I need a new one. They're not that expensive, so I can just hand that out to somebody else. But I definitely need something else because it happens all the freaking time, especially when it gets wet. Slips even more.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, the outdoor conquest, he has a video out. It's a short where he actually had his phone in his Rogue tether and the silicone and everything, and he dropped it out of his hand and it bumped up on his kayak in just the perfect angle and way that the whole thing came out of the silicone case and dropped right right into the water.
No.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Rogue
bro.
one did?
The Rogue one did, and it was on there the way it's supposed to be on there, but it fell and hit the kayak, and I guess it just shook it right out in a perfect way. So
One of those things, if you do it 100 times, you can
exactly.
never recreate it. My gosh. Everyone else says, hey, they have phone tab tethers on Amazon. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of options out there. I'm gonna wait and see what Yak Attack comes out with. I'm gonna go check that out and be like, hey, I don't think I've been unhappy with anything that Yak Attack that I personally purchased. So
Mhm.
we will see. We'll see what happens there. So what are we going to be able to look out from Bearded Dad Fishing? What do you got going on? I know you got a Facebook group that's kind of rocking and rolling. It's kind of fun
Oh,
to
yeah.
watch. I'm a part of that myself. Of course, you
Yeah,
have
man.
Bearded Dad Fishing, your YouTube
So we
channel.
Yeah, so the Facebook group is growing. It's called Kayak Fishing Dads. We have almost 29,000 members at this point.
Ooh.
And that's kind of just took off on its own. I mean, people are looking for this community, you know what I mean? And that's why, because I know you have your group too, and it's been growing. People are just looking to connect, dude, with other like-minded guys. There's a lot of people that meet up within the group and they'll go fishing because they're from the same region, which is really neat. Obviously with the channel, I started my podcast this year, the
Oh
Yak
yeah.
Chat. So that started in January, and I'm heading on to episode 12 now. So I do every
Oh,
other week just to keep it
how's
kosher
that
with the
going?
schedule. It's good, man. I'm learning a lot, dude. I'm not gonna lie, like it's a little bit at first, it was kind of a little bit of an undertaking, but it was more
Yeah.
just working through the nerves of doing your own show. You know what I mean?
Yep. No.
But I enjoy it. You get to talk to guys that you otherwise probably wouldn't. You know, I had Chad on there twice. I had Alex on the show, which was cool. Bearded Paddler and Christina came on as well. So it's been great, man. Getting a lot of guys on there and chatting, and they have some really great insight.
Yeah. No, it's
So
fun. I know I was going hard at it for a year. This is episode number 70. So welcome number 70.
oh
But yeah,
yeah,
I throttled it back during the fishing season. But one, it's hard to get people to respond to you. So it's hard to place people. So having that every other week cadence is nice. But
Mhm.
are you picking up people listening in?
Yeah. I mean, it's up and down. It depends. I don't know if it depends on the because it's my first go at it in the year, right? So right now, more people are fishing. So I don't know if it's going to have to do with that in the summertime. There's more people out, or if it's on the topic. You know what I mean? So,
It
but
just
but we're
takes
getting
time.
on average between 25 to 40 concurrent viewers at once.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you throwing it over to all the other platforms as a podcast as well, ripping the audio?
Yeah. Yep. So I'm
Great.
ripping the audio, putting it up on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And from my
Okay.
understanding, people scan Apple and put it on all the other Stitcher and whatnot.
Yep.
So
All
it's
right.
it's been going good, man. Just keep trucking along and building what we're building. So I'm excited for the Knucklehead, dude. It's real cool because last year we did it and it was kind of like I know Chad was putting it together for the first time, but like
Mm,
all the kinks are kind of worked out. And now that it's a 2-day event, we're gonna do a lot more kind of group activities. It's gonna be dope, man.
yeah, I'm excited about it too. Um, yeah, should be a good year. Um, so well, Jay, it was great connecting with you, man. I've
Yeah,
had uh I've had fun. This is
appreciate it,
for
bro.
some reason I feel off tonight. I'm like tired. It's kicking my butt. I've been up the last 2 mornings early and picked up some nice fish, but
There you go.
July bass fishing's kind of it's like feast or famine. But I'm also hunting big, so I'm getting less and less bites. But when I get them, They're good, but it's wearing on me. But yeah, Bearded Paddler says Jay's good people. It's easy to watch. Good people doing good things. That's right. So if you haven't done so yet, please hit that like button. If you're listening in from the podcast for Wendell Fishing, please. I don't think I've ever asked this, but please write a review. Right? I think I maybe have like 30 reviews on there. I don't know. I don't think it actually does anything to the algorithm over there, but it is helpful. Other people kind of check on it. And I would imagine if you made it all the way into the podcast, you like it. So I'd like you would actually be the one to leave the review. But Jay, thank you so much for whoa. Pump the brakes. Fast backwards 13. Dad joke before we go. I am so sorry. What was I freaking thinking?
All right. So I knew I had a feeling someone was going to do it because you did it last time you had me on. You did it towards the beginning of the show. I was like, man, someone's going to ask for a dad joke.
What was?
If you watch my videos, you know I drop a dad joke at the beginning of every video.
Oh, I have like one classic dad joke, and I probably shared it last time you were on.
Sorry, you go first, and I'll go.
No, you go first. I think I shared this one before.
All right.
You go first. Now I got to remember it so I don't butcher it on the live air.
All right. So why aren't koalas considered bears?
Why?
They don't have the right qualifications.
Oh my gosh. What is a SEAL's favorite class?
Or. That's still a good one though.
What is a dolphin's favorite letter?
Ooh, what? That was good, bro. I'm gonna have to steal that one.
No, please do. Take that back to your show. Make it your own. Folks, thank you so much for putting up with us. I hope you had fun. Maybe learned something new on the Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast. I will see you guys in 2.5 weeks. I don't have a guest yet. So if you have someone you're like, hey, I'd love to see on the show, please write me a DM and I'll just go ahead and ask them. I'll ask anybody. Whether they get back to me, I don't know, but I'll ask anybody. So thank you guys so much, Jay. You're the man. Appreciate you. Everybody have a great night. I'll see you.